This may be the strangest or maybe most exciting EV on the market currently is the Mercedes-Benz G580, and this is my full review. Welcome to It's Only Electric. Let's start. This is a really special vehicle, looks really different compared to the other EV cars, the other lineup from Mercedes. It's a real SUV, let me say it that way. And it's the heaviest car I have ever driven. Curb weight, 3 tons. It measures 4.6 meters, so it's not that long, with a wheelbase of 2.9. It has 4 motors, one close to each wheel. Each motor delivers 108 kilowatts. It's permanent magnet motors. The combined output, 432 kilowatts or 587 horsepower. The total torque is 1,166 newton meters. It makes the sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.7 seconds with a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour. I don't know, I'm not that convinced that I want to try this one in 180 kilometers per hour, but it's really quick. So the full name of it is G580 EQ-technology instead of just EQG. I don't know why they went for that long name, but never mind. It is certified at the same route, the Schöckel mountain in Germany, as the regular gas versions of this car, and it can handle the same terrain conditions. One thing is better on the electric version, and that's the wading depth, the depth of the water that it actually can drive through. And that's 850 millimeters around this depth. So that's impressive and 150 millimeters deeper than the regular gas version. And to be able to handle those terrain conditions without damaging the great battery pack, there is a 25 millimeters thick carbon fiber skid plate protecting the battery pack from rocks and things that could damage it. And whilst talking about the battery pack, it has a NMC battery pack. It's big, 116 kilowatt hours of net capacity, just about 120 when it comes to gross capacity. That's a heavy thing. And that gives the car a certified WLTP range of 468. And when it comes to the frontal design or the design in general, there is not much aerodynamic and efficiency to talk about. It is just rude and boxy. I mean, it's provocative, and that's the meaning with it. I mean, the design is kept back from 1979, and it's very iconic, and they want to keep it this way. You don't buy this car to drive far, or you don't buy this car because you want to climb a mountain. Normally not. You buy it because you like the attitude of it. And this is a car you either hate or love. And despite being that boxy and old school looking, it still hides some impressive technology. For instance, these angel lights, the daylight running lights, hides a matrix LED underneath. So despite looking old school, it is still high tech. Underneath the hood, there is no frunk, but let me show you. Covered in plastics, and as everything else in this car, you slam it when you close it, because slamming is what you do. To be able to close the door, you slam it. The rims may look a bit dwarfed, but they are actually 20-inch AMG rims, black edition, comes with the edition 1 package, unstaggered setup, so 275s, 50 all around. In this case, Nordic studless winter tires, Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5. And my apologies, the car is dirty. I tried to keep them clean and wash them before, but this car is impossible to keep clean because it can do stuff that normal cars can't. And I have a hard time stop doing those things. More about that soon. When it comes to charging, the charge port is placed here at the rear right side, and it supports a top speed of 200 kilowatts when it comes to fast charging, DC charging, Should be able to charge 10 to 80% in 32 minutes. We'll see about that. And when it comes to home charging, 3-phase support, 11 kilowatts. I mean, this is a big battery pack. 32 minutes is okay. So who cares about charging rates and consumption when you're riding in a G-Wagon? I know it may be ridiculous, but we do. So we're gonna test the range, the real range, the consumption and the cabin noise of the G-Wagon just because we can. And that's the next video. I will put a link up here when that's available. So when it comes to the rear, it's not much to say about the rear design. It's just a box. But one recommendation from me is to go for the storage here at the back, because first off, it looks very strange, totally flat. So this one adds to the looks of the car. And it also adds a practical aspect. It has a digital lock, so you need to have your key in your pocket to be able to unlock it. And it's perfect for storing the charging cable, because then you don't need to search for it or have it in the boot. It's very accessible, very user-friendly. When it comes to the boot, it opens that way. That's different. So make sure to have a lot of space behind you when you park in dense areas, because it will require like 120 centimeters of extra space behind the car. Boot capacity, 620 liters. Foldable seats, 30-70, with a small ski latch in the middle. So fairly practical. And when you fold it, you will get a lot of space actually. Here at the back, you have a subwoofer and a 12-volt outlet. There is no storage here underneath because this is where we hide the battery pack. One thing is, as usual, you can't close it regularly. You need to slam it. So let me climb into the back. And first off, this car is spec'd with the superior line interior. So it has, I think it has like everything you can spec it with. So it's the maximum convenience here at the rear. So before we start, we need to close the door. And to close the door, we need to do what? Slam it. Yeah, that's about the right amount of power. And here at the rear, when it comes to space, I mean, headroom, it's not necessary to measure the headroom. It's amazing. I mean, I have 2 fists almost of extra headspace, and I'm 6'4" or 193 centimeters tall. Let us look at the legroom instead. When it comes to the feet, the footwells are really nice and spacious. The legroom is not that super good. I mean, my knees are touching. The front seat is adjusted after my driver position. I'm able to fit. It's a fairly straight seating position, and you can angle it. There is a lever here at the side, so we can have it even straighter upwards, and to be able to gain some extra space at the rear. You can sit really 90 degrees straight. Not that comfortable, but it's good to have that possibility. Let me find that lever again. Yeah, there it is. And this is the most reclined level. To the obvious thing, it's equipped with the 2 screens. I think they are 11.3 inch, one at each side. You can use your own account for applications like Spotify, other streaming services, and you can also put in HDMI inputs, but also stream or play things on USB devices. And you can control the screens from the front too. So for instance, can like share information or share something from the USB at the front to each screen if you want that. But this is a convenient way of traveling. I mean, kids will for sure be able to travel a couple of hours extra without complaining. And when it comes to comfort, it's equipped with a armrest, a central armrest. It's well cushioned with 2 adaptive cup holders. The seats as such, the bench is also Nappa leather with this nice blue stitching. That's also part of the Edition 1 equipment. They are heated, the 2 auto positions. You control the heating here at the doors in 3 different levels. And the temperature can be adjusted because it has a 3-zone climate system with a small screen here where you can adjust the temperature and the amount of airflow. And the airflow is regulated by a ventilation or 2 ventilations here at the mid console, but also 1 on each side at the B-pillars. When it comes to quality and material, it's top-notch. I mean, despite being a terrain car, it has really nice equipment, and they have done it as good as possible for this type of a car. That also goes for the door sides. I mean, you have solid builds here with soft cushioning, good materials, and nice stitching, built-in ambient lighting, the tweeters at the side from Burmeister. It's a really good-looking interior here at the back, and as premium as it can get for this class of a car. Let's climb into the front. And as usual, slam it. The kids, they had a hard time closing the doors, but they have to get used to it. They slam it every time, and without complaining, actually. It was a bit of a hassle at the beginning. So here at the front, you will really see that this is not a regular EQE or EQS. It's a G-Class, and it's a bit different, but in both a good and a bad way. The front windshield is really close to the driver, and it's like very straight upwards. You don't have that aerodynamic feeling and look from the outside. It's very straight. And this car feels very straight as a concept. When it comes to the instrument panel, it's very narrow. We have soft touch materials, and this blue nice edition 1 stitching really goes well hand in hand with this gray Nappa leather inlays. It also has this real carbon fiber inlays on different spots, for instance here at the grab handle, just around the screens, and also this big central compartment. It's equipped with 2 screens, 2 12.3-inch screens, 1 digital instrument cluster, and a touch screen here at the middle. And this is running the MBUX system as usual, and I think it works good. I'm used to it, and I have nothing direct to complain about. It's running wireless Android Auto, but also wireless Apple CarPlay, which makes it convenient, and you have a lot of functionality if you utilize those. Otherwise, built-in navigation works fine. The EQ menus, for instance, regarding range and consumption, etc., is also working good. There is no function for preheating the battery pack or preconditioning the battery pack as there is in the other merch models, the EQE, for instance. I'm missing that one. And that may be because of the lack of a heat pump, because this one doesn't have any heat pump. And that, by the way, is the artificial sound. It has a really humming sound profile. It's kind of simulating a combustion engine, but a bit more digital and artificial. But I like it because you also hear it from the outside. When you approach with a key, for instance, and it unlocks the car, it starts this humming sound, almost vibrating, and a bit of a tense and aggressive sound profile. But it really fits and suits the car, the profile of the car. So I like that, and I don't want to turn it off because it adds something to the experience. The steering wheel, it's utilizing the same kind of steering wheel as the other cars in the lineup. It's this 4-spoke design, or actually 6-spoke with 4 spokes with incorporated haptic touch controls. I love the design of it because it has this blue stitching that lifts the experience of the steering wheel. But what I don't like is the controls. They kind of needs a lot of attention to get used to. It takes time because they are touch and they're working like a mouse or a touchpad at a computer, because you need to navigate around on the screen with these. If you don't want to touch the screen, you can use this one for all controls, and that's a good thing. The downside is that it's tough to use and it's really precise, so you need to get used to it, and the learning curve is fairly steep. Otherwise, a really amazing looking steering wheel. Behind that there is 2 attached paddles, and that's for adjusting the regenerative braking. More about that when I drive the car. Otherwise, 2 stalks. To the right you have, as usual, the drive mode selector, the gear selector, and gear. I haven't mentioned that this car comes with 2 gears, one high gear for regular driving and one low range gear for climbing and terrain driving. You can enter that when entering the dry mode rock. Also, more details about that soon. When it comes to the seats and the seating position, it's using the same seats, as far as I can tell, as nothing.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Never mind. Yeah, the voice control just activated. I don't know why, but I probably said something about Mercedes. When it comes to the seats, it's more or less the same seats as I'm used to in the EQE SUV, for instance. It looks really similar, probably the exact same ones. I have a hard time angling the position to give me the right amount of thigh support, even if it has a extendable thigh support. And the seating position is fairly straight up because the car is shaped that way. You don't sit that much leaning backwards. You need to sit fairly straight. Extendable thigh support, as I said, you control everything here from the side of the door, and you even have a controller for adjusting the height of the headrest. If you want to adjust the depth of it, you need to do that manually by a button here at the side. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, here. So a good headrest could have been a bit more cushioned, but still good support and a very good placing of it. And the seats as such does come with heating, cooling, and massage. And when it comes to massage, it's really good. One of the best ones I've tried out. I did a more detailed walkthrough in the EQE SUV, I think. So I put the link up here. But it also have active side bolsters. So first off, they adapt or give you extra support when you take corners, for instance. So if you take a sharp corner to the left, it will bolster up the left side. So pushes it towards you to keep you in place in the seat. But there is also the possibility to choose how narrow it should be adjusted. So the seat menu is found under comfort, under seats. So for instance, here you have the side bolster. You can set the level from 0 up to 10, where 10 is the most narrow one. It is a bit too narrow for me. I run it around 4. You can do that on both sides. And you also have the lumbar, which you can adjust, not here, but you need to adjust it from the screen. And as you see, it's kind of a 3D matrix where you adjust it exactly. This is a really nice way of illustrating hardware. I mean, it's so clever. Really makes sense to have it that way, and it's really adjustable, very precise. You also have functions like seat kinetics, where it actually helps you to stay awake and stay engaged when you drive longer trips, because it changes the angle of the rear seat. It pokes out things like certain places of the massage function to like give you a versatility of your seating position. That's a very clever way to keep the driver going, and it's really helping. I like those kind of functions. Otherwise, the massage really have a lot of different functions, and the good thing is that it also have this cushioning massage where you have really shiatsu hardware, so you really feel it, and it's really good, especially after workouts, etc. This is actually called workout cushion. You also have a workout backrest, and it also only activates the backrest function. You have also mobilizing massage that mobilizes or massages the whole back. So also heating, you have hot relaxing, and you really feel the heat even through the jacket. So if we move downwards here, we have the central compartment, and this is one of the sturdiest central compartments I have ever seen. The carbon fiber is so thick, you can probably park another G580 on top of this. This will never break. I'm pretty sure about that, but it looks great. I really prefer this before all this black piano finish. If we pop this open, we have frontwards leaning Qi charger, very good position. If you have the biggest phones on the market, you may have some issues making it fit in a good way. Next to that, you have a 12-volt outlet and two conveniently placed USB-C ports. Another extra equipment here is the cup holders. There's two adaptable cup holders. They are equipped with heating and cooling. So there is a button here for toggling between heat, cool, and off. And that's for keeping the temperature of your beverage. So if you have a coffee, you turn the heating on. If you have something cold, you know the drill. Let me close that one. Downwards, there is a control pad for controlling the central media screen. It has some haptic feedback, so it's vibrating. You also have a shortcut for the home button and a back button here, and music toggle function, so you can toggle the media from that one too. To the right of that touchpad, you have the volume knob, pause and play function. You have a shortcut to the navigation, but also a shortcut to toggle between radio and media, the different sources. Underneath that, a shortcut to the EQ menu, that's the charging menus, etc. To the left of the pad, you have a shortcut for your favorites, so you can actually adapt or set your favorite tiles here. So that's a neat way of like reaching out to functions you use more oftenly. Shortcut to the car menu and activating the 360 view, the park assist functionality. On top of that, you have the drive mode selector, so you can toggle between the modes that way. Also very convenient. I will walk through the different modes soon. Lower down, there is a storage compartment. There is some space here. Good thing is that there is a USB-C port, and when talking about storage, there is a glove box. I think it's fairly roomy. There is some room for storing things there, and you have side pockets in the doors for storing bottles, etc. Okay with storage. There's nothing underneath here. Nice touch and feel to these manual air ventilations. That goes for all the EQE cars. I really love this design. It's easy to use, and it has this smooth ambient lighting, so when you toggle the temperature, it will set the color depending on if you raise or lower the temperature. So if you lower it, it will turn blue. If you raise it, it will turn red. Very straightforward. And then it goes back to your pick of color depending on the ambient lighting as such. In the middle here, you have the off-road cockpit shortcut that activates the menu for like showing angles, height, etc. Underneath that, you have the low range or the low gear switcher. So you switch that on, and you need to set it into a certain drive mode to be able to activate that. And on both sides, you have the really cool features like the G-turn to the right. And the G-turn is when the car actually does a tag turn, standing still on a spot, just doing 360s. Underneath that, you have the possibility to turn off the traction control and activating some kind of hill mode controls for driving in different terrains. Let me see if we can activate it. Yeah. So this makes the car like transparent, and you see the whole front area of the car. Underneath that, you have a physical panel of buttons. So they have gathered different functions for controlling the climate. It's equipped with the premium sound system, the Burmeister 3D sound with Dolby Atmos functionality. It's a good sounding system with a subwoofer at the rear. The problem is that it is not as good as in a regular cabin. I guess it's due to the acoustics. It has a lot of glass areas, so it makes it hard to make the sound the right way, I think. But it's not lacking any details, or the bass is there, so it's an overall good system. But if you have put the same system into another more regular shaped car, you'll probably have a better sound image in the cabin. But I'm not complaining. I mean, you don't have any space to fit in the speakers, and you only have the door pockets probably underneath the seats and some tweeters on top of the dash. But I mean, it's hard to do something better. So one of the main reasons for having a hard time keeping the car clean is the G-turn. And to activate the G-turn, you need to navigate and activate the rock mode. It's a drive program called rock mode, and then you need to switch it over to low range. That's the lower gear, and engage neutral to be able to switch the gear. Then put it into drive again. Press the button for the G-turn. Hold the right recuperation pedal and press the accelerator. 180, 360. And it's so fun doing that. Mercedes actually states the turning radius to be 13.6 meters. I have now confirmed it to be 4.6 meters. Maybe 5 because it wobbles a little bit, but it's almost stationary. Now let me disengage the low gear, put it into neutral. Now it's in regular gear again, and I will toggle up to drive mode comfort. Let's take this for a drive. And as you saw, there's a couple of drive modes: rock, trail, comfort, and sport. And at last, individual. So let's start at comfort. I mean, there is no eco mode, obviously. This car is not purposed to drive economically, because you will not succeed anyway. It's not worth the work. You can like toggle on things in the climate menu for like saving some amount of energy, but that doesn't make sense because you will still waste the most of the energy on the 4 motors. It's a bit of a special car to drive because, I mean, it has this 4 motors and it has this active suspension. There is no air suspension, but it behaves a bit strange. First off, it's a very heavy car. The second thing is that it's more adjusted towards terrain, and it's a very high car. It's you're sitting very high up, and the suspension and the car behaves a bit nervous on uneven surfaces in faster speeds, in higher speeds. And it's a bit stressed. But I guess that's because of the tuning of the car. It's made for other things. Actually not made for highway driving. Even if it's working all fine on highways, it is not the perfect car for long trips. I mean, you can get a lot more comfort in other cars, so that's not the reason to buy this car. Let's make a U-turn. The 360 view is really good. It's working fine. All the software, I haven't experienced any bugs yet, and I think the overall functionality of the software is really working good. It has been around for a while now, a couple of years, so I think they have sorted out and ironed out most of the problems and issues and bugs. Let me switch it over to individual and customize the setting individual. There is 3 different modes, or 3 different areas you can switch between. The drive, it's comfort or sport. In sport, it gets a bit more aggressive. I'm gonna try that soon. And you have the comfort, you have 3 different modes. You have comfort, sport, and trail. I'm putting it into sport now. Steering, the same thing, sport and comfort. That's the stiffness of the torque of the steering wheel. I prefer it in sport because it's fairly soft anyway. Okay, so now everything is set to sport, and I'll try to. It's so aggressive, and this humming sound in sport mode, it's engaging. Oh, it's so aggressive. You don't feel all that weight. You feel it, but when you accelerate, it kind of disappears. That, by the way, is the regulated speed warning assistance. There is no shortcut on the steering wheel for that, but there is a shortcut always present on the screen. The only time when it isn't present is when you're running Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, because that function disappears then. But you just press that one to deactivate that speed warning. Very easy way to do that, because it's fairly aggressively beeping, so I at least can't stand it. I don't know if you can, but I'm always switching that off. Let me try it on. I will switch the drive to comfort and see if it behaves a bit softer. Yeah, so it's a big difference. It's a big difference in feel when you press the accelerator between drive and comfort. In comfort, as it sounds, it's more pleasant. It doesn't give you that kick when you force the accelerator to the bottom. It's more building up the power. It's coming a bit later, a bit smoother acceleration curve. Whilst in sport, it's so immediate. And as I said, 0 to 100 in 4.7 seconds. That's amazing for such a heavy car. Oh, this is a beast. This is a beast. If I switch over to comfort, let me just try some uneven surfaces and see how it behaves. The suspension. Is there any missed sounds? Is it uncomfortable? Is it harsh? We're gonna see that now. But I'm a bit surprised because the car is really not noisy. It's fairly silent. Now I'm driving slow and I have tried it in highway speeds. It is not super noisy. The thing is that there is a lot of wind noise coming from the A-pillar, mostly from the A-pillar, above like 60 kilometers per hour. Then the wind noise starts. And it just gets worse when you go faster. So, I mean, that's normal. And I guess you don't expect any super silent cabin when you go for the G-Wagon. That's probably not your main purpose. But it's more silent than I actually expected it to be. And it's equipped with double pane windows. But I hear a distinct difference when it comes to noise level on highways, and especially from the surrounding cars. Here at the front, it's silent, but from the B-pillar and backwards, it brings in some tire noise, but especially noise from the surrounding cars. So I wonder if the glass insulation is different, or something else, or if it's the door seals or something is causing some more road noise to get into the cabin at the rear. But here at the front, it's comfortable and silent. And we're gonna measure the noise level of the car in the next video, so stay tuned for that one. Now it's time for the recuperation, and there is a very clear graphic about the recuperation. And you adjust the recuperation on the pedals just in front of the steering wheel. So there's a couple of different recuperation levels. The one most further to the right, when I press the pedal until the end, it's called no recuperation, so it's just coasting. When I toggle or press the left one, it goes into normal, and then it's fairly great amount of recuperation. And in strong is even more. And then you have the strongest one called maximum recuperation. And then all 4 motors is actually braking for you. But it doesn't come to a full stop. It keeps rolling at around 6 kilometers per hour. So there is no one pedal driving option. That's sad. That would have been perfect on this car. But I mean, it's 4 permanent magnet motors. It should be fully possible to get it fully stationary when you let go of the accelerator, even without adding brakes. But I tend to have it on maximum recuperation. You guys know me. I always try to maximize the recuperation and get as close as possible to one pedal driving. So let me try if the voice assistance works good this time. Hey Mercedes,
How can I help?
which car has the best off-road capabilities?
The Mercedes-Benz G-Class is often celebrated for its superior off-road capabilities. Its durable construction and innovative technology are designed to handle a wide range of difficult terrains with ease.
Okay, that's fairly expected. Is there any other cars in the segment that's good?
In the off-road segment, other vehicles like the Land Rover Defender and Jeep Wrangler are also well known for their off-road capabilities. These vehicles, along with the Mercedes-Benz G-Class, offer unique features that cater to different off-roading needs and preferences.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it is obviously connected to the internet. It gives us okay answers, even if it's like biased a bit, I think. Still works. It's time to summarize my experience with the G580 EQ technology. And I kind of get the point with the car, but at the same time, I don't. What I like though is that they have gone all in to the concept of the G-Wagon. They haven't tried to do it efficient. I mean, it's a monster. It eats up the energy in the battery pack, even if it has a really big battery pack. I mean, it consumes like 3 times a Tesla Model Y. I mean, it's not the point to build a efficient car with a long range. The point is to build a capable terrain car, an off-road car. And I'm not the user for off-road cars, but I also see that most of the users that owns this kind of a car, even if it's a petrol, a gas car, or the electric version, tend to live in dense city environments. And I'm not seeing them driving around in the terrain because it's more of a attitude, a lifestyle, and a show-off culture. I mean, this is a vulgar car, and I think that's the main purpose of it. It's more of a statement, and I get that. But on top of that, I also love the experience of driving the car. I mean, it's a very fun and engaging car to drive. It's so different compared to the other alternatives on the market. It's so all into the off-road feeling and this sturdy build. It's like a tank. It's built like a real tank. I mean, you slam the doors like there was no tomorrow. And when you jump into the car, you sit so high up and everything is like different compared to regular cars and regular SUVs. But at the same time, it's so effortless to drive it. I mean, it's easy. It's just start it and all the technology helps you out. And if you want to turn it off and lose control, you can do that too. And it's a marvel when it comes to technology. I mean, the 4 motor setup, the individual controls, the G-turn. It's a different piece when it comes to engineering. It's so analog, but at the same time, it's so digital. I haven't mentioned the price. As usual, I try to keep that to the end. The price of this car is 2.3 million, around 190,000 euros. And it's almost fully spec'd. The entry-level model, it's still the 580, starts at 1.7 million Swedish crowns or 146,000 euros. So it's an expensive car, however you look at it. But it is actually not that more expensive than the gas version. So if you're into the G-Wagon and want to transition to EVs, this may be your option to do that. I mean, you can still be vulgar, you can still be a rebel with a full electric car. I think that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I want you to share your thoughts about the G580 in the comments below. Let us have a discussion. What do you think about the car? Is it like, does it make sense or is it just crazy? And please like and subscribe as always. Stay electric. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.